What's going on, guys? The Ronin Safe just got a fresh update, so I thought, hot off the press, I make a video on what the Ronin Safe is, and if you want to use it as a way to secure your funds, all the things that you should know, work with it, don't work with it, things to keep in mind. I'm personally using it and I'll share with you guys how I have it set up. So, first off, what is the Ronin Safe? It's a multi-sig wallet. Multi-sig very simply stands for multiple signature. So you could kind of set it up in two ways. Either one, you create a safe where multiple people can sign for you or for it, or two, you can create a safe where multiple people need to sign for it. There's a small difference, can and need, and I'll explain it on account creation because I think that's the best way to get to it. So once you're on the site, go click create an account. You give a name for your wallet. We're going to call it Video Safe. It's going to be on Ronin. You agree to the terms, you click next. So here is where you can put the people who are able to sign transactions using the safe. So let's put myself as the first signer. Let's say the second signer, I had my dad. Let me pull a random one of my address wallets. Let's take this number 6 here. Let's say we put that one here and his name is Bob. And then let's have maybe my mom also able to sign. We're going to call her Molly. These are not the real names of my parents, but just for example. So now I've set up two other people and their own wallet addresses that are able to sign for my wallet. The important part is here, the threshold. Here it asks how many people need to sign for a transaction to go through. Now, if we make this like a joint savings account, you would only need one. We all can put money in, but we all can take money out. Now, you would want to do this with a very trusted group of people, maybe founders of a project. But even still, I don't think this helps with safety because if any one of these wallets get compromised, the hacker can drain the whole safe. So it's not the direction I'm going. What I like is to keep the majority vote, 2 out of the 3. So if one of them does get compromised, you would still need a second transaction from hopefully an uncompromised account. We'll get through the transactions and how it looks once we get into the safe. So this is how I set it up. I have 2 trusted people for my safe where every transaction I want to do out of the safe, I just kind of call one of them up and say, hey, look, I'm trying to do this transaction. Can you approve it? If you do 3 out of 3, that is also an option. But I do think that there's a risk of losing access to the safe because if one person loses their wallet, it happens all the time. People don't save their seed phrase properly. Then their computer breaks down and they can't re-upload their wallet. That would potentially stop you from accessing all funds in the safe. I don't see if there's a way, I don't think there's a way around it if one of these people lose their wallets and you have 3 out of 3 signing. So I do think personally, majority signing is the best way and also with 3 people. That's my personal thought. It's up to you how you want to set up the safe. So then you click next, you can see all the signers listed, the threshold that you've set up, and it's very, very cheap to open up the safe. Now I've already made one for this video, call it the test safe. Once you create the safe, it looks something like this. So it kind of gives you a bit of a profile, portfolio look. And yeah, it'll show your total asset value. As right now, I don't have anything. There's the send and receive here at the top. But you can click on my assets to get your QR code. Let me see if I could just quickly send it some RON so it can show up. I'll send it half a RON since I don't have much on this wallet. Let's go half a RON, send it over, confirm, and it should very quickly pop up in my safe. So we're going to let that load as I continue on. So you can store assets. You could actually store NFTs as well. So if you have some valuable NFTs that you just want to keep in a safe, you can do that as well. As long as they're on the Ronin network, it should be fine. There's your transaction history. Well, we're going to get back to once we do a transaction. There's your address book, so you can save and import different addresses that maybe you send to often, or the people that are actually controlling the safe. But the coolest part is the apps section. So in this app section, they've added this custom app in the update. It wasn't there before, so that's pretty cool for the builders that want to build apps within the safe. But for the regular users like yourself, potentially, and me, there is still scatter. If you're running some type of business and you want to pay your employees, you can scatter out of the vault. Katana for DEX if you want quick access to the DEX, but also just the Ronin app, which provides you with Ron staking, bridging, and Katanas there as well. So you are able to stake your Ron that is in your vault. You just choose the validator just like you would outside of a vault, stake your tokens, and you're good to go. The only difference is if you stake, let's see if my Ron showed up. If I want to stake my Ron, I would have to start the transaction. We're going to test this out. Sign it. This Ron is going to just be permanently staked. I don't think I'm going to unstake it. So we're basically burning this Ron. You start the transaction and it gets in queue, right? And once it gets in queue, boom, 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 you go to your transaction section and you can see here, 1 out of 2 have started it. So now I would need to log in to my other wallet or call my friend or family member, or if they're beside me, talk to them and ask them to also confirm it. You need 2 people to confirm a transaction for it to go through. That's the whole safety aspect of it. The thing is, if somebody was to reject it, if my person number 2 was to reject this transaction, you would also need a second rejection to reject it. So everything needs 2. So one person cannot just block every transaction. That's another thing. So you need either 2 confirmations or 2 rejections. If one person rejects it and then I change mine to rejecting, it would go away. But that is something to note. I did think of like, why would it be necessary for 2 people? But if you imagine one of your wallets get compromised, you and your friend are trying to pull the money out and the hacker is constantly waiting, rejecting every single transaction, your funds would also be stuck in a safe. So I do like the idea that you do need 2 rejections or 2 confirmations for things to go through. That's about it for the safe. I don't think I'm missing anything too crazy. Yes, the settings. You can also add and remove signers or change the threshold. The only thing that you need to note is that a change in the threshold or a change in adding or removing signers does require 2 transactions. So the same way, if I was to click add signer and I want to add a new wallet and maybe change it to 3 out of 4 now, before that goes through, it would show up in my transactions queue and ask for confirmation before it goes through. So that's a quick video on the Ronin Vault. It's not even that quick, man. I talk a little too long. You could see all the history of all the transactions as well, and they did add a messaging section, which I'm not too familiar with yet. If it becomes something really big, then I can add it in another video. Thanks for watching. If you decide to create a Ronin Safe, let me know. If you have any additional questions or concerns, ask me them in the comments. I'll be happy to help. Cheers.